All right, we might make a start. Got everybody on so far, and those that join um, can just join when they jump on. All right, good morning, everyone. As I said, happy Friday. Welcome. Thank you for making the time to join our online members meeting today. We are recording this session and we will be sending out a link to all members who are unable to join us today as well. My name's Penny Corner and I'm the Executive Director for the Master Plumbers Association of Queensland. And today I'll be hosting the meeting and providing a bit of an update on some of the key areas, along with Ernie Kretschmer. Ernie is our Deputy Executive Director, and he'll be talking on a couple of matters today. Okay, so we've got our copy of the agenda there. So the key areas that we're going to cover is the changes to unfair terms and conditions, a little bit of an update around the Diploma of Hydraulic Services, some information around small businesses and what grants are available, the MPAQ history book, and then we want to walk through the industry benchmark survey results. Following that, Ernie's going to cover the water-based fire and apprentices sign-off as well. So we might get straight into it. If we go to the next slide, please, Summer. All right, so it's all about unfair terms and conditions. So the federal laws have prohibited unfair contract terms since around 2010. And Australian consumer law, which covers under Australian consumer law, it was strengthened and broadened in 2016 and also in 2019, but it hasn't really bitten into the contracting world. Was difficult to use, and you had to get court tribunal adjudications to enforce. So on the 9th of November, next week, new unfair contract terms will apply, and they're going to be in a much broader circumstances, and they're likely to affect you as members. So the change includes expanding the unfair contract terms regime to small businesses that have fewer than 100 employees. It previously used to be 20, or turnover of less than $10 million. There is also new civil penalty provisions for non-compliance will also apply, and it will be unlawful to include or rely on any unfair terms where applicable. Unfortunately, they haven't given us what those unfair terms look like. It is going to be based on interpretation. But three elements will apply. So the standard form contract has changed, but the definition and rules have changed specifically in that area. The upfront price payable, so it no longer depends on amount as it previously did. And also the definition of small business has changed as well. You now don't need a court decision and the ACCC can prosecute and intervene. They've given more powers to the court. Plus, the unfair contract terms are now not just unenforceable, but they're actually illegal, and there's hefty fines associated with them. We have just been given a presentation on all of the amendments, which we are going to make available to all members. So I won't go through in too much more detail on that, but we'll send out the presentation afterwards so you can have a bit of a look through that. All right, we'll go on to the next slide, is the Diploma of Hydraulic Services. So this has been discussed quite a lot lately. The Diploma of Hydraulic Services is currently unavailable, and this has raised some concerns within industry at the moment. This course is a licensed requirement from the QBCC, and licensees must hold this qualification to comply with the law, and failure to do so can have severe consequences. The Master Plumbers and the Association of Hydraulic Services Consultants Australia, the Queensland chapter, has been engaging in discussions on this matter for some times, and we both agree that it is a significant issue for our members. So to gain further insight, we decided to create a survey and send it out to industry to get some more data on it. We received over 162 responses, and a summary has been prepared from the findings. The findings show that the industry is looking for the diploma to be available up and running, and people do want to do the qualification so they can get the license outcome through QBCC. We have been working closely with the Department of Youth Justice, Employment and Small Business and Training, and we're also having discussions with the Department of Energy and Public Works, along with TAFE Queensland and TAFE New South Wales. Our concern is that no one currently delivers the qualification, but it's a license requirement in order to be able to do this work. TAFE Queensland have advised that they're not in a position to be able to teach the qualification at the moment, but we have been speaking with TAFE New South Wales, and they advised us last week that they will be looking to run the qualification again next year. So we're just waiting on some course dates and some course information from them, and we'll be able to pass that through to members. Ideally, we would love, obviously, for people to undertake their qualification and their training here in Queensland, but since it's not currently available and people need an avenue to obtain this license, we may need to encourage people to look at TAFE New South Wales in order to obtain their qualification. All right, Ernie, did you have anything on the diploma that you'd like to add? Anything that I've missed, left off?
No, just that without that course being delivered currently, you can't meet the requirements for a license. So it is important that we get that course up and running, or alternatively find a different pathway.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll go to the next slide. So the next slide is really just a little bit around small business and some of the grants that are available to your businesses. So I just thought I'd touch on them here. So the Queensland Government has the Industry Workforce Advisors Grant, and it assists small business tenants to plan their workforce, find solutions to employment challenges. The government also runs a Mentoring for Growth program, and it's got information and tips for mentoring for growth on different topics. They also have the Small Business Financial Counselling and Wellness program, and the focus is really around helping small businesses that are experiencing financial challenges to let them know that they can get some one-on-one free financial support, including cash flow planning, budgeting, insolvency advice, and dispute resolution. Plus, it also helps small business owners with unique and personal business challenges, needs, and opportunities in a free one-on-one supportive environment. So that's something that people may be interested in. The next one is the new access for small business owners, and it's a free guided self-help mental health coaching program. So that's also available. So I wanted to let people know about that one. We'll go to the next slide. Okay, the other programs that are available is the Workforce Evolve. It's a free Queensland government funded e-learning program designed to help employers think differently about who they hire and how they retain staff in the future. There is a cyber wardens program, and it's really about helping protect small businesses from online threats that do occur. So there's a program that is available there. There is also a Prepare Your Construction Business for Disaster. So it's a Queensland Government Small Business Disaster Hub, which helps you prepare for what would happen in the event of a disaster. And the last one is the Small Business Debt Helpline. So it's a not-for-profit service that helps Australians with their debt problems. So if you're experiencing concerns in relation to debts, this helpline is available, and the service can advocate on your behalf, and it can stop harassment from debt collectors, negotiate debts, and organise affordable repayments for you as well. So that's just something that we thought would be useful information to provide. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. All right, the history book. So Master Plumbers has decided that they would like to create a history book to celebrate all of the work of the people that have contributed to our association since 1900. The book's going to be released in May 2025, and it will align with our 125-year birthday celebration. Bruce Wallace, our MPAQ historian, is working with a colleague to prepare the book. And we've been reading some of it. I think Bruce is up to about 1960 at the moment. So it's great that he's proactively working to get this done. And what we're doing is a call out to action. If anyone has any stories, photos, anything that they'd like to include, if they could please send it through to us, because we would like to reference it in the book as well. We really want to have some of those key stories and things that members remember that they would like to have in the book. So please send it through, and we look forward to receiving those. Okay, we'll go on to the next slide. The industry benchmark survey results. So every year we undertake a survey out to industry. And the purpose really of the survey is to collect the data and compare the results year on year and present them out to members so that they can see what industry is saying. So we'll just go through the Canva presentation. And someone's going to bring that up for us, please.
Is that working?
Yeah, it's working. We can see the first slide. Thanks, Summer. All right, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so in this report, we're obviously going to go through the business information in the first instance. So we'll go to the next slide, please. Okay, so which region is your business located in? So obviously this is the first question that we asked. So 66% of survey respondents are based in Southeast Queensland, and then you can see the breakdown in the other regions, including Far North Queensland at 17.6% and the Wide Bay Fraser Coast at 20.6%. It's just really important that we understand the data that we're getting from that we're receiving, that we can interpret it based on regional areas as well.
Sorry,
we'll go to the
Penny, can I
yes.
just interrupt? I'm getting some people say they can't see the slides.
Okay. Summer, is it possible maybe to reshare?
I could see them for reference.
Okay, how about that now? Otherwise, we could take a photo and post it in the chat.
Yep,
no, she can see it.
Everyone's good now. Okay.
All right, the next question we asked is, what size is your business? And there was a 9% increase in the number of respondents that only have one employee from the previous year. Sorry, I'm just pulling up my notes here. So you can see here that the number of people, the majority of people have between 2 to 5 employees, and you can see it's sitting at roughly around 42 or 43% for the 2023-2024 year. All right, we'll go to the next slide, please, Summer. So 87.8% of the survey respondents employ male apprentices and or tradespeople, while 21.95% employ female apprentices and or tradespeople, which is a decrease of 3% compared to the 2022-2023 report. Okay, we'll go to the next slide, please. Okay, how long has your business been in operation? So 69% of the survey respondents have been in business for more than 11 years. So you can see that sitting at just over 20% there. And the other category is around the 21 to 30 years as well. So quite a long time that our members have been operating their businesses for, based on the data that's been provided. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. 48% of survey respondents have been actively recruiting in the last 12 months, which is down from 55% from the 2022-2023 report. And the top 2 reasons for recruitment being business growth and also staff leaving due to higher salaries offered elsewhere. So you can see the stats there around 50%, 51% for business growth and 27% for the salary. We'll go to the next slide. In terms of the skilled worker shortage, and obviously this came through quite a lot in the previous year as well. So 21% of survey respondents indicated maintenance work was the area suffering the most from a lack of skilled workers. So you can see it's close to 25% there in the maintenance section. Obviously followed by gas. Okay, the next one is what type of work do you undertake? So the top 5 types of work undertaken by the survey respondents is obviously domestic maintenance was the first one, drainage, commercial maintenance, renovations, and gas fitting. We'll go to the next slide, please. Products and suppliers. So on average, our survey respondents spend $508,628 on products and materials per annum. So that's really good data for us to know what those costs look like. And obviously, if manufacturers or suppliers ask us, we can give them some data based on the survey respondents. We'll go to the next slide, please. In terms of the decision-making factors when purchasing plumbing and gas fitting products. So this also is really important to understand how people are actually making their decisions when they decide who they're going to purchase from. So when purchasing for materials, number 1 is the quality of the product. Number 2 is the relationship with the supplier. Number 3 is price. Number 4 is client specification. Number 5 is product recall insurance. And number 6 is brand. So I just think it's really important to understand that it's not just about price as the number 1 factor when they decide to purchase those materials. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. In terms of expenditure, how has it changed over the last 12 months? So survey respondents indicated that the following most common responses. So 37.7% indicated a 25% increase in expenditure on materials compared to 45% indicating a 25% increase in 2022-2023. Labour, 36.67% indicated a 10% increase in expenditure on labour compared to 35.8%, indicating a 10% increase in 2022 and 2023. And overheads, 43.33% indicated a 25% increase in expenditure on overheads compared to 38.86%, indicating a 25% increase in 2022 and 2023. So I think just looking at that slide, that we're really encouraging members to look at their charge out rate guides. If materials going up, labor's going up, overheads are going up, all your costs are going up within your business, and you really need to look at the charge out rate guide and calculator that we've developed. We also have a templated letter for you to issue to customers and clients about increasing your prices as well, so we can help you with that. And those tools are available on the website. All right, Summer, we'll go to the next slide. Charge out rates. All right, we'll go to charge out rates. So how do you usually charge? Other responses include fixed pricing for small or maintenance work, quotes for larger projects or renovations. But you can see there that majority of people are charging on hourly rate. The next option is obviously it differs per job, and more people are getting into that fixed price area as well. We'll go to the next slide, please. All right, decision-making factors for when working out charge-out rates. So in order of importance, survey respondents rated how these factors affected the calculation of their charge-out rates. So covering the expenses, their profit margin, wages, customer expectations, other and competitor pricing. 31.87% of survey respondents only disclose a charge-out rate on request. We'll go to the next slide, please, Summer. While 29.12% disclose when quoting and 23.63% disclose when invoicing. So that was quite interesting in regards to the charge out rates. Do you charge a call out or a service fee? So 33.52% of survey respondents do not charge a call out fee. For those that do, it's 28.02% charge $70 plus GST. So it's quite interesting that the majority of people don't charge a service fee call out anymore. All right, we'll go to the next slide. The most common other response from survey respondents was incorporating a service fee into the first 30 minutes or hour of work by having a minimum charge as well. So that's how some people get around it. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Do you charge an additional fee for travel time? So the most common reason for additional fees for travel time were if it's further than 50 kilometres or if it's longer than 30 minutes of driving. So I think that that's interesting to know. All right, we'll go to the next slide. Do you apply a loading for after hours or emergency work? So the most common factor for calculating loading applied for after hours or emergency work was overtime rates. So you can see that there in the slides. Okay, what is your average markup on the trade price for materials? So the most common response provided for the average markup on materials was 21 to 30%, which was the same as 2022, 2023. And the comments note that this is mainly on construction jobs, whereas maintenance work can vary as much as 40% through to 300%, obviously depending on the product and the cost of the product as well. We'll go to the next slide, please. Charge out rates. So below are the average rates based on the feedback from survey respondents that indicated they do not have different charge out rates for different types of work. So you can see here in the table that sole trader partner in 23-24, 118.63, and then go down through to the trades assistant at $78.80. If you look through a charge out rate for apprentices on the other table, you can see there that the fourth year apprentices is being charged out at $91.67, sorry. And this is just based on the survey respondents that we received. Most rates have increased on average, and combined the rates differ from 2022 to 2023 by about 20%. So that's interesting to note. All right, charge out rates for domestic maintenance. So below are the average rates based on the feedback from survey respondents that they indicated they do not have different charge out rates for different type of work. So you can see their sole trader, 113.72, and the fourth year apprentices at $89.08. All rates have increased on average. Combined, the rates differ from 2022, 2023 by about 20% as well. So that's interesting to see. And then we go to new residential. So you can see there the sole trader for 23-24 is at 102.69 and the fourth year apprentice is at $81.08. So most rates have increased on average. Combined, the rates differ by about 9.24% from 2022 and 2023. And then we'll look at commercial maintenance. So you can see here a supervisor manager is 124.47 and a second year apprentice is 68.86. So most rates have increased on average, and we've combined the rates differ from 2022 to 2023 by about 6.5%. Please don't feel you're rushing to try and copy down this information. This is available for members, so you can go on at any time on our website and be able to access it. The next one is around commercial. So you can see here the supervisor manager, 124, and the third year apprentice is at 74.69. So most rates again have increased on average, but it's sitting at around 4% for this area. And then charge out rates for gas fitting. So supervisor managers around $136 and the third year apprentice is around $81. So once again, all rates have increased on average by about 18%. And in terms of charge out rates to do with local government, so you can see here supervisor manager, $129, and third year apprentice, $70.73. So an increase by 9%. Technology. All right, this one was quite interesting. So 54% of tradespeople are provided with tablets or smartphones to undertake their work. 19% only office staff utilize technology for work. 17% tradespeople are required to have tablets and smartphones. 8% of the survey respondents are strictly paper-based, so that was quite interesting to know. All right, we'll go to the next slide, please, Summer. In terms of job management software, so we've asked people what they're using, and the most popular responses include CavSoft, TradeHack, and Xero. So they're the most common ones used. There's also obviously ServiceMate, Simpro, Fergus, Simpro Service, Tradeify, Arrowflow, Telstra Trades Assist as well. Insurance. All right, so we asked our members what challenges they were facing when obtaining insurance. So majority of people indicated that the cost was the biggest challenge. Also with getting public liability insurance was also one of the other issues that came up through this survey, and the availability of coverage as well. We'll go to the next slide, please, Summer. In terms of the types of insurance policies, so we asked members what sort of insurance they're actually taking out in terms of coverage. So you can see there, public liability, vehicle, equipment, tools, property, and also another response was cyber insurance as well. Challenges in our industry. So what are the top 5 most concerning challenges that will affect your business in the next 12 months? So the first one is unlicensed people performing plumbing work. The second one is managing work-life balance. The third one is industry regulators. The fourth one is skill shortages. And number 5 is builder insolvencies. So compared to 2022, 2023, which the top 5 were unlicensed people performing plumbing work, managing work-life balance, supply shortages, builder insolvencies, and skill shortages as well. Some of the other comments that were provided include interest rate rises, cost of living, major construction projects taking staff away, and changes to award and employment conditions also rated up there. All right, feedback around representation. So in terms of the people that completed the survey, 87% are members compared with 89 in 2022, 2023 that completed the survey. Go to the next slide. What do you think MPAQ could do better for your business and the plumbing industry? So I won't read all of them. I'll just pick out a couple of ones here. So have a jobs board online. It's too expensive to advertise on Seek. Support more small trainers to stop the monopoly that TAFE has in our industry, and abolish the industry-specific redundancy scheme. So there's some of the key items that have come up on that slide. We'll go to the next one, please, Summer. On what issue should MPAQ be lobbying the government on? So the first one is around the home warranty insurance, increasing the threshold from the 3,300. Looking at getting some more funding assistance for workplace health and safety training, and issuing of Cert 4 through paid organisations without qualifying the individual's skills. Okay, we'll go to the next slide, please. And this one continues. So a couple of the other ones is obviously unlicensed work, which has come through in those top 5. Not banning gas, natural gas, renewable gas, and encouraging renewable hydrogen blend for our gas into our network as well. We'll go to the next slide. All right, so that's a bit of a wrap up on the survey responses. I think it's really informative, especially around that charge out rate guide for each of you as members to sort of see what other people are doing and what they're charging out in the marketplace. All right, Ernie, I think I've spoken enough. I'm going to hand over to you now to cover a couple of areas. Thank you.
Thanks, Penny. I'll try and be as brief as possible. Slide 10, yep. Okay, those with apprentices may have noticed or may have received correspondence from the RTO that is handling the training of your apprentice, advising of different options that are available to you as a employer at the moment. The new Certificate 3 in Plumbing training package was introduced a couple of years ago now, but RTOs have had a transition period or a teach out period that is just about to be complete. It's just about to end. And they're advising employers of different options that they may wish to follow with their apprentice, because their apprentice will have been signed up under the old training package, not the new training package, which you can see there is 32420. Some people are contacting us a little bit confused, as that letter seems to intimate that you should sign your apprentice off early. That's not necessarily the case. And if you read the letter standing on one leg sort of thing, you can see that it doesn't actually say that, but it does seem to come across that way. The options are you either sign your apprentice off early, or they will have to undergo additional training, because the new training package isn't 100% compatible with the old training package. So therefore there is additional training required to achieve your Certificate 3 in plumbing. It doesn't identify in the letter how much additional training there is, but it is not an expansive amount of training. You're looking at an additional week to 10 days, I think, is what I've been advised, on top of what they've already done. If they've finished their institutional training already, this won't apply to them. It's only to those who still have institutional training to complete. It is important to note that as the employer, you are part of the training of the apprentice. You've signed a training agreement as well as the RTO. Signing off someone who's not competent could lead to problems down the track. But if you are 100% comfortable that they are 100% competent, then you are obviously in a position to sign them off. But ideally, they've finished their college, they've finished their on-the-job training with yourselves before you get to that point of signing off an apprentice. Next one there. Fire licensing or fire work for plumbers. Since the fire licensing reforms back in 2021, we have had lots of inquiries in regard to fire work and can I still do this, or am I covered for this? Do I need an additional license to do fire-related plumbing work? And the easy answer is that all water-based fire is regulated plumbing work. Nothing changed for licensed plumbers under the fire licensing reforms. If it's water-based and it's a fire service, it's plumbing work. The only caveat to that is when it comes to automatic sprinklers, and it's still plumbing work, but we require an endorsement on our license to either do commercial or industrial sprinklers or domestic and residential sprinklers. If you did want to obtain those endorsements on your license and do that work, there is additional training required, and you can see there's 4 units for the domestic and residential. So completion of those 4 units will enable you to add the endorsement for domestic and residential sprinklers to your license. And if we duck onto the next slide with commercial and industrial sprinklers, it does require Certificate 3 in fire. Now, the Certificate 3 in fire does include many units that will have already been covered under an apprenticeship in plumbing, and therefore you don't necessarily have to do an apprenticeship in fire to gain Certificate 3 in fire. You could either RPL or credit transfer units already held, and then perform gap training to gain or complete the remaining units in the Certificate 3 in fire. There isn't a requirement to do an apprenticeship. You can just get that qualification and then you meet the requirements to get that endorsement for the commercial industrial endorsement. Short and sweet. If you do have any questions, happy to take questions. Otherwise, you can email me or call me and happy to discuss.
Great. Thank you, Ernie. Now, does anybody have any questions they'd like to raise? You can feel free to put your hand up, or you can just put a comment in the chat. Any questions that you have? I'm mindful that we have gone over time today, so. No, everyone's quiet, Ernie. You answered everything. All right. Well, on that note, this is our final online members meeting for this year. So we'd just like to say thank you for your continued support of MPAQ this year. And we wish you all a safe and happy Christmas. And we look forward to seeing you at these meetings and at events and activities throughout next year. Thank you again and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.